Welcome back to the Management Diary. This is where we get to have serious conversations on matters career research, scholarships, and lifestyle. And tonight in our conversation, we are joined by Valentine Mukeni. She recently graduated with a bachelor's degree from Brunel University in London, and this was on full scholarship. We are going to get details about how she got this scholarship and all the details you would expect to get as a prospect, and of course, to get to understand more about her experience. In case you're listening to this podcast for the first time, we host scholars to discuss more about their experiences. And guess what? We're just about to cross the 10,000 subscribers mark. So if this is your first time, consider subscribing. Our guest tonight is Valentine, and she did her bachelor's degree in environmental science. Valentine, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. What is your most favorite experience about London?
Oh my God, I think one is the London bus. I tell people that every time because I remember when I was in primary school, I was reading a magazine and then I saw the London bus and that was fascinating. So every time I see the London bus, it's just like, wow. I mean, I could never have imagined being in London. So every time I see the London bus, I'm like, wow, I'm actually seeing it live. I think that is one of the most fascinating things.
You have been in London for 5 years, right?
Yes.
Do you still feel this experience does it meet your expectations before you came to the UK as it was?
That's an interesting question. What did I even know about London anyways?
Mm-hmm.
I just knew London. Everybody says London. You know, if you hear like Swahili, they say Maisha London. It's such a big, it takes you to the imaginations of, like fairy tales, where we can say that. So I had that expectation of, a very high end, life living, like, the land of milk and honey. But, well, I can say it's actually because I've been living in London, I can tell it's true that is the life here. And you can tell from, how this transport system, using the train and things are just easy. You can just, things are easy to do compared to home. And also like as you move away from London, you can feel the difference, right? So I think that expectations was met. But obviously living on the far end as you move from London, like maybe central London, as you go far, you're like, oh, sometimes I feel like I'm somewhere in Embu, to be honest. So they've been met, but also had to see another side of London where, I'm like, wow, I could never have thought of it like that. Yeah.
So we have different ways we came to the UK. Everybody has their own path and unique version. Yet you were chatting with you just before we began the podcast, and you mentioned that you were on scholarship.
Yes.
How did it all get started? How did you land this scholarship? Where did you start?
This all started in 2016. I vividly remember I was 16 years old. And that day we were going to church. So like, Catholics, we have parish masses and all that. So that day people were going on a parish mass. So for us, I could not attend the parish mass because it was far away. So I had to attend the early morning mass. So the early morning mass is for the college student and the primary school, the boarding that is near my hometown. So I decided to go on that early mass. And when I went there, the priest announced about that opportunity of sponsoring students from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. So he said a friend of him just mentioned about that. And I remember the whole time, I felt like, I was filled with doubt. I was like, will I get that marks to get to that scholarship? But also, I was feeling like maybe I'm not good enough because there were also other students who were in a school that I really used to admire because I went to a public school. So that was like very high end. So I thought maybe I'm competing with them. But then God kept telling me that, look, go for it. So after that, I went and approached the priest. I told him, please, how can I find this how can I apply? And then he printed the papers and sent me and give to me. So now after printing the papers, it was now my opportunity to fill in the details that were there. I actually remember that was the first formal application I ever did in my life. And it was actually during, when was it? During teacher strike. So there were some places you needed to fill about a teacher acknowledging that you are a student and you need that financial help support. So I had to go to his place. I had to look for the chief. I had to, like, there's so many documentations that were required. And I remember doing that all alone at 16. So that's how it started. And then I got shortlisted to go to interview at Isaac Walton, Embu. And then after that, they came home by surprise to see where I live and to probably confirm that I needed that help. And then luckily I got the scholarship and joined M-Pesa Foundation Academy.
So you are telling me you got a scholarship to the M-Pesa Foundation Academy?
Yes.
That is in Kenya, right?
Yes.
So what is M-Pesa Foundation Academy?
M-Pesa Foundation Academy, we can put it in simple terms, is a high school. But it's not just a high school, it's a leadership institution. In broader terms, it's a state-of-the-art, it's a co-educational and a residential institution, or a high school which is based in Thika. And they offer KCSE, their high school KCSE standard, and also recently they introduced the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program and International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program. Yeah.
Now let's get the details on how things went. Now you make your application, you go for an interview.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
So I remember that interview. It was, I think, on a Wednesday. So what happens in that interview is you find people from different places. So it was Embu County for that interview because they were taking students from the 47 counties. So that day, it was everyone from Embu County, and there were so many people, to be honest. And so we were put into groups to do like the group project. I remember there was some marshmallows, and we were told to build some blocks. Little did I know, like, looking at this with this knowledge I have, they were looking on our ability to solve problems or even our team working skills and all that. That's how I remember, like, we did those things. Why were we doing those things, right? And then after that, there was a big panel, and then you're going to be interviewed. And they were actually asking you the things that were in that application form. So I could imagine if maybe someone had written that information for you, then and you were not looked at it, then you'll answer two different things. So in that panel, they ask you questions and then, answering and just being yourself. That's what I did. Yes.
So that was, you said 9 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And between this period and when you joined now high school, when you joined your bachelor's, we want to have a little chat about what happened. Because I've never been to the M-Pesa Foundation Academy.
Yeah.
And most people actually don't get the privilege to go to high school on a full scholarship.
Yeah.
What does it look like to be in high school on a scholarship? And what does all these high school scholarship come with?
That's a good question, and I feel like I didn't say this enough. So, like, this M-Pesa Foundation Academy, they serve talented students who come from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. So, but students with great leadership potential. What it looks like being in that academy is that they give you the dreams. They give you the wings to fly. To be honest, for me, as someone who grew up in the village, Karuri village, when I went to M-Pesa Foundation Academy, there are so many programs, we have sports. We have different sports like badminton, we have hockey, we have table tennis, you have those big golf, those big sports. So you feel like if you're talented in sporting excellence, you will thrive there. Okay. There are also entrepreneurship activities. So if you have like business idea, they can help you to incubate your ideas, right? And they can support you through your innovation, your entrepreneurship. If you're good at tech and innovation, then you find your space, you find your own tribe. And that's what I can say about M-Pesa. Being in M-Pesa Foundation Academy gives you, you're open-minded. You're not just there to get A's and well, it's good, you need to pass. But it's more than getting A's. It's more of, what can I offer? What can I use? How can I grow music-wise? If you are good in music, is music curriculum to help you. If you're good in, I mean, that's how I can say about that school. It's a home and it has a lot of opportunities for people, especially the young ones who are coming from underprivileged backgrounds. It's really an interesting one.
So as a student, what are you doing besides studying, of course?
That's a good question. I think when I was in MFA, I was this Chinyamaji girl. I was more focusing on my education. But other than that, I was doing hockey as well. And what else did I do? Good question. I joined hockey, did some public speaking here and there. And I worked as an environmental coordinator. So, uko, I used to, be the person mwenye na plant trees and watering
Perhaps that's what influenced you to get into the environmental science program at a bachelor's level. But now, some things actually come with exposure. Even for you to think about studying elsewhere in a country outside your home country, that's Kenya, such things come with exposure because there's no way you can think of studying in a different country if you don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
So is this one of the things that you guys are exposed to during the curriculum or the program? Or how did you now start thinking about coming to the UK? Did you also have options to go elsewhere besides the UK?
Okay, thank you for that question. Yeah. So, obviously that school, if you go there, you will feel the exposure around, even without being told anything, right? That speaks a lot. But they don't stop, the thing is they don't stop sponsoring you or taking care of you after you graduate from your IBDP or IBMYP or just your finishing your KCSE.
So what are those IBDP and IBMYP?
The International Baccalaureate Diploma Program and the International Baccalaureate Middle Year Program.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they have what we call is it pre or post before you get to uni, tertiary. As you transition to your higher education, we go to another institution they have built in the same M-Pesa Foundation Academy. It's called Uongozi program. So at Uongozi, we are taught about leadership. So people come to teach us about leadership, African history and philosophy. They teach us about financial management. And then they also teach us about, life in general. So there is that easy transitioning. And then also they bring people from different, like maybe agencies will help us to understand or choose your school. So if you want to go to study in the UK, there will be an advisor who will help you to choose that career and to show you how that looks like. If you want to study in the US, the same case. And also if you want to study in Kenya. So there's that support as you transition to higher education.
So M-Pesa Foundation Academy is going to support you through your tertiary education as well.
Yes.
Now you mentioned Uongozi, and I think this is one of the. It sounds interesting and important because there are things you only get to learn firsthand from people who have had that experience.
Yeah.
And even me, as I sit here, there are people who, if I'm told they're going to be around here in the UK tomorrow, I'll have to make room to meet and go sit and listen to them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on this, do you remember any person you looked up to at this institution who came to speak to you? And I mean, like, what was your general experience about this?
At Uongozi.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So at Uongozi, by the way, it's Uongozi Center. Now my mind can remember. Uongozi Center. There, I can't like say one person. For sure, I can't say it's one person that came and, but I can say like there were different people who came in that center to teach us about like, let's say African and philosophy, and you learn about being like, your mind thinks in a different way, to be a proud African, even as you go outside the country, to be proud of yourself and, and to be proud of yourself and bring your identity as an African and don't feel intimidated by being Black or, by coming from Africa. I think that is something that prepared me to be in a foreign world. Now that I didn't know how London, how UK looked like, I think that that's something that really helped me, that when I came here in the UK, I couldn't trade that for anything. I'm like, that's my business, like, and it's not from, biasness or anything. Just like, that is who you are. That's where you come from. And, that's your culture. So even carrying your culture and identity in a foreign country, I think that really prepared me. Also, the financial literacy part, because when you come here, your mom is not here, matrons are not here, or those financial advisors are not here. You have to account for every cent. And let me tell you, if you don't account for every cent, you're gonna be homeless. You can't be homeless, you're paying rent, but you can be hungry. A lot can happen when you're in a foreign country. So I think those were very important aspects that were very beneficial to me when I was transitioning at Uongozi Center.
As a young adult,
Yeah.
let's call them that, by the time you decide this is the program I want to do, 70% of the time, most students, especially the youngsters, they don't actually know what they're getting themselves into. They just probably heard about the program from a peer or a parent or somebody they look up to. Now, there are two interesting things that happened to you here. The first thing is, you actually chose to go to Brunel specifically. You will tell me about that.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is, you chose to do environmental science as a program. What was the earliest time that you heard about the environmental science program, like as a career?
That one, obviously, in Kenya, you're always thinking about either medicine or becoming a lawyer or something else. That's what you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and through that, I really had a difficult time to even know what I want. So I had like, when you're finishing Form 4, there's option 1, option B, different options. So I remember when I was I think I had a soft spot for the environment, but the spot I had was very related to trees, was more of trees. So I had environmental science, but I knew that I love and care for nature and trees. Okay. So I could ask my teacher, like my geography teacher, what do you think I can do? I care for trees and everything. And I remember when we were doing presidential awards, he was just letting me know about like the different options. You can do environmental science, you can do environmental health and safety and all that. So that one I added in my options. So like nursing, psychology, I added as top of my option. And then also as I grew, because I grew up from family where my grandmother used to sell firewood. Every time I used to go home, I could see how the weather changes. The weather kept changing. And I knew for some reasons it's trees, but I also wanted to understand the science behind that and how we could manage our environment. So I didn't really have if I say I had a clear mind of what environmental science was, I would lie, but I knew for sure I had a soft spot for for trees, but also I loved geography, I loved biology and agriculture. So when I was presented that option when I was going through Brunel University website, and then I saw environmental science, I didn't have any second thought because I was like, well, at least I know trees. I can go and study that course. And then also because I knew I cannot go wrong with my biology, geography, and agriculture knowledge that I had. And now, yeah.
You see, there are thousands of institutions globally.
Yeah.
How did you single down to Brunel?
Well, I mean, to be honest,
was it by chance, or you had known about it and planned about it?
So for me, obviously you're coming. I mean, I didn't really know about UK a lot. So the first option was sociology, BSc sociology. And I remember asking people, what is sociology? Am I going to get a job in sociology? And then I was like, no, I need to choose carefully. So I chose environmental science, which was in Brunel. So I think I would say it was by chance that environmental science, there was environmental science in Brunel that could accept someone who has done biology, chemistry, and agriculture. Yeah.
Okay, now I get
And also it was in London. I was like, London. So.
MPESA London, as you said.
Yeah.
Now we're coming to talk about your experience about the MPESA London thing, but how did you make this application? How was the application process? Who organized it? You see, the first thing is the M-Pesa Foundation guarantees you're going to get financial support.
Yeah.
Do they also help you make application to the institutions, or you as a student decide what you want to do? You go and contact the institution. Then you tell them, this is where I've decided I'm going. Could you please support me?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I remember very well. There was some. We had people who came to speak to us, like consultants who came to speak to us about studying abroad. So studying in the UK, studying in the US, and then now you could go to them and tell them and ask them, just listen, because you don't know anything about US and UK, right? So you just go and then they tell you, okay, these are advantages of studying in the UK. These are the advantages of studying in the US, right? So using them, they were our resources that we could use to get more information about where you want to study. And then also now they could give you programs they could show you different universities and the programs that you want to do. And then from there they could help you apply. So it was, I would say it was easy.
Mm-hmm. And straightforward.
Because we had, and straightforward because we had, let me say, a helping hand. We didn't do it alone. Yeah.
Now, the young person, the young you has finally gotten an offer at Brunel.
Yeah.
And you are, I'm just saying this because I'm remembering my first day here in the UK when I was planning to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be full of memories because there are a lot of things that happen. There are a lot of people that you leave behind, and there's that kind of fear about where you're going. Now, which year was this? 2020, right?
Yes.
So just during the high COVID season, that is when you are moving into a new country.
Yes.
Tell me about the first thing you thought about when you landed in London, and how was this journey?
Yeah, so I remember landing at Heathrow Airport, and the airport was so big. Let's start from there. We're just coming from KQ, Kenya Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and then you land Heathrow Airport. I remember we used so many elevators, how many escalators. I was wondering, are we going to heaven? Like, where are we going? Oh my God, it was so, I can't. But nowadays, when I go there, I'm like, why was I thinking about all this? But yeah, it was the airport presence, and also now the fact that I could not use my phone. Now I had to look for another line. I can't talk home. And then you're like, okay, so how does this go? Are we taking a taxi? Hey, I felt, I don't know, it was overwhelming, to be honest. And the worst thing is the cold, because it was 30th October, and that time it's starting, the winter is beginning, right? The autumn winter. And I've never experienced such a thing in my life. I remember how I was wearing. It wasn't very, very warm enough for me, and it was freezing outside. I was like, wow, where are we? It's COVID. You could not see anyone. People are just minding their own business. You cannot just say, hello, how are you? You can't speak Swahili. It was, it was overwhelming.
You actually told me now winter is your favorite. I don't know, your perspective about winter has probably changed over time.
Yes, true that.
Now, being young and in a different country, there's a sense of responsibility. And
Yeah.
this is one thing that we don't actually get to talk about a lot.
Mhm.
But there's a sense of responsibility that comes when you move to a different country.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. You are responsible to understand the local rules that you probably did not get to be familiar with a lot.
Yeah.
The local society is different.
Yeah.
There's also the freedom that you get now you are in a different country.
Yeah.
And the bigger part is money. What has the UK taught you about money?
Money, what UK has taught me is that money is a tool to help you get resources. People say, and money, do they say money is everything? But I think, to be honest, one thing I've learned is that money is not like, I can't say it's everything, but you need it. It's a tool for you to get to, to get stuff, to get resources, to get to the next level. And without it, it becomes very challenging. And I'm saying that from a point of, I'm in London, right? Let me tell you, if I don't work for 1 month, I'm not able to pay rent. And I saw that now that I've graduated, I can see that you can actually be homeless in this country. I'm not even kidding you, So I think it's a tool, but I learned, with the responsibilities that, you need to be alert. You need to look for jobs. You need to look for opportunities so that your bank account is not zero because you need the money. Like that to help you navigate life in this country.
Yeah, it is you and your credit card and your bank account and debit cards. Now, here's the thing. The M-Pesa Foundation was supporting you throughout your studies.
Yeah.
What kind of support are we talking about here?
So we are talking about educational support and emotional well-being of their scholars, right? So that means they were taking care of me, funding my scholarship, the whole of my scholarship, and my accommodation and stipend.
So
and also,
sorry? Just go on. And also?
And stipend, and also providing the, the emotional support, like, they were there if you need help, if you need to chat to someone. There was that help. They could visit us in schools to see how we are doing, which is something that I really appreciate. like after we graduated, they also came to celebrate with us, which was very encouraging to see that we are not alone in this country. Yeah.
You see, you can be. Somebody used to tell me you can be here, but still feel like you are. You can be with people, but still feel like you are alone.
Yeah.
It's good when you have people around you, and we are shortly coming to talk about social life and mental health.
Okay.
Because that is something that it is of a really big concern.
Yeah.
But let's break down the money issue first. You know, before somebody travels to the UK and the US specifically,
Yeah.
there is this notion, I will get to the other side and become super rich. I mean, like, I don't know if you had those plans before you came. What was your plan? How was it like?
Oh my God. I was planning to build a mansion, like a story house. 4-bedroom story house in the village.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was planning to do that, yeah. And that, because obviously you're in the UK, and when you convert the money to Kenya shilling, that's a lot of money. But then also there's something you don't realize, that even if it's that 10K, like if you convert that 70 pounds to Kenya shillings, which is 10K, then you forget that you can actually get a house with 10K, but you can't get a house with 70 pounds here in the UK.
Yeah.
So what I did, or how I can say about like having plans and thinking about doing big things when you come here, I think I learned of budgeting, like to budget, know what is coming and what was going on. And also I learned to do part-time jobs so that I can have that money, but also fill my cup first. Obviously I wanted to like build home, make sure everybody is living well. But then I was like, I also have a life, and I also need to take care of my financial, like stability, we can say. So like learning about financial management, because, when I am financially stable, then I can be able to help back home. Are we together? But obviously I could, support people home. But the big picture is like, it's not that easy.
Have you ever heard of the word black tax?
Yes. But
I was having a conversation with a scholar.
Yeah.
This scholar was on a MasterCard Foundation scholar. And the question he asked me after the conversation was like, bro, how do you handle black tax being in this new country? Because sometimes it's so difficult to tell people like, this is not a lot of money. So how about I transfer that question to you? How do you handle black tax? Because I know somebody who is going to listen to this conversation is going to want to know more about that.
I know what you're talking about, black tax. But to be honest, according to me, my Valentine, I think I don't want to call it, it's not a tax. I don't want to call it a black tax. Okay. I want to say is, how I see it is like, supporting home when there's need. So I don't feel like it's my responsibility to take care of everybody and everything that comes. Because at the end of it all, actually people don't understand what you're going through. People think that this is of course this is a developed country and there's money, but also so does the living standards and the money that you're spending and your transport and everything. So knowing this, and knowing that at home you have a place to sleep, you're not paying rent like me. You have a chicken there, you can cook that chicken, you can go buy eggs, you can milk cows and goat, you can ask for your neighbor, you cannot sleep hungry. Knowing those things, they put me at peace, and I feel like I don't feel that obliged to like save people, or, people tell me I'm suffering because I can't tell you I'm suffering as well. You won't listen to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I wouldn't say it's black tax, but I think how I've been able to navigate it is very wise. I am in charge of it. I don't want it to consume me. So I do what I can. I step up when I can. And I also say no when I cannot. I think that one is very clear with the ties back home. Yeah.
Speaking about that, there's one interesting thing about this whole scholarship thing. You being in London, now, you probably never explored this, but I will tell you this because I get to speak to a lot of scholars.
Yeah.
If you look at a scholarship like Commonwealth or Chevening, they have different level of stipends they give their scholars.
Yeah.
If you are living in Scotland here, Scotland is one of the cheapest places to live in the UK.
Okay.
You are going to get a stipend of around 1,400, 1,300. That's going to be sufficient enough to pay your accommodation, lifestyle, everything.
Yeah.
In London, these guys get something at least 1,800, 1,750, 1,800.
Yeah.
So an extra tune of at least 400 to 500, right?
Yeah.
Because purportedly, life is expensive.
Yeah.
So, give me this budget.
Yeah.
So, you have started your month in January. You actually mentioned life in the UK has taught you about budgeting.
Yeah.
So, what are you looking at as a student? Because now I want to come to London and I want to know exactly what is expected of me. So, what does it look like?
You mean in terms of spending, right?
Yes.
So, in London, if you're a student studying in London, the rent, like this room I am right now, is £850. So, but if you check, we would give you if you're living inside London, let's say the average rent is 100,000 to, let's say, 850. 100 to 850 rent accommodation.
So are you talking about it in pounds or in Kenyan shillings?
Pounds. 1,000. Oh, sorry. 1,000 pounds to 850. That should be your budget. And this could be, you could get a en-suite room or you could get a shared house. Like, for example, mine is 850. Can you imagine? And it's not en-suite. So we are sharing the other common area. But you can find another one that is 700, but it's en-suite. So it really differ. But to be on the safe side, the budget is £1,000 to 850. So if you find the one that's cheaper, that's a plus for you. But in London, £1,000 to 850. Yeah. And then you have to think about transport, right? So if you be going to school every day, if you're going to work every day, you need to say transport. But it's easier to use buses than trains because trains are a bit expensive. So if you could use buses, that means you will have to have good time management, right? So because buses take long to get where they are going, it's not unlike trains. You use buses. And then the other one is groceries, right? So you have to budget groceries. So for me, I would say if I have spent maybe £150 to 200, £150 to £200 per half a month. And then maybe spend if I stayed 150, maybe half a month and then maybe 50, then I would have spent 200, £200 in a month. But that really depends on how you eat and what you eat, right?
Yeah. Your past circumstances.
Yeah. So I would say, 200 for a month groceries, I would put 200. Yeah. What else? Maybe the extra stuff and all that. So budget in London could be like £1,000 plus the groceries, maybe 250, let's say 250. And then you have the transport but then that we can't quantify because you have to know where you're living. So for me, like where I live is close to accommodation. So I just walk. So, so the transport will be maybe going to church or going to job or going to that. But if you're going to job, obviously you're getting paid, so you can pay with that. I don't know if I answered your question. Did I?
That makes perfect sense, because now people can now start to understand when we are saying you are getting 1,800. Around 1,500 is going to your normal expenses every other month, right?
Yeah.
And we have not talked about maybe going to this or that leisure activity and parties and stuff. If you do.
Yeah.
Now, was this fully supported?
It was. So they sponsored my education, like my studies, and also they paid my rent. So they paid my rent and then gave me my the stipend. My stipend, not my stipend. So that was actually good because I could tell them, okay, so this is the rent, and then they send me the stipend, which is fixed for everyone, I think. Mm-hmm. Whether you're in Scotland or in London, it's fixed stipend, which is, that one taught me fine. Like, that one I had to really plan very smart. Yeah.
So you have to plan your money. Yeah. That is the bigger thing. You have to plan your time.
Yeah.
Because at least I could say this confidently, that things and people here are more or less like on strict schedules.
Yeah.
So these schedules are so fixed, you have to understand what needs to be done at what time.
Yeah.
So that means if you are a student and you want to work, are you allowed to work as a student?
So as an international student, the visa rules are, you work 20 hours in a week. So you work 20 hours in a week during term time. That means if you started your course on September, you finish your course in May or June. Mm-hmm. So by that period, you work only 20 hours in a week. Maybe, and then after that, during as in when you're done with the studies, like maybe when people are on a break, like during Easter, you can do more than 20 hours. And then after May to September, then you can do 20 hours. So I think even the student who self-sponsor themselves, they really take those months. They take advantage of those months because you can work like crazy. International students really work so hard. Like, doing so many shifts.
They do. Like, they work. I know. I've seen that thing. That thing happening a lot.
Yeah.
And speaking about working, in as much as you may want to work, the Kenyan spirit, I want to work until I cannot work anymore. But then there's this other question. Is this work there? Is this work available? Because wanting to work is one thing, but getting that job is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Now, 5 years down the line, since you've been in the UK,
through
each year, thinking back, looking at how you've been doing all these things, how is the job market as a student?
So when I joined, I was very excited because I'm coming from Kenya, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're giving me £10 in an hour, like I'm making 10K in a day. I'm like, what are you joking? So I was excited, and I wish I had the information. If I had the information I had today, maybe I could have built that mansion. But because of that, then I did jobs that were more labor, like, the manual work. So I went to cleaning jobs. But what that does to you is, in terms of CV, it kind of like lowers. I mean, you can use it as to gain to use it for transferable skills, but the more you stay there for long, the more you don't have an update CV or better jobs. You understand? So these jobs are there, the cleaning jobs are there, the, care home jobs are there. But, I find most of the international students doing care home, which actually they're really doing well in that sector. But in terms of my career, I feel like the job market is very competitive and very tough at the moment. Is actually competitive. Like, I can't believe this is London and the job market is that competitive. But in terms of other part-time jobs, it's easy to get them. But also, as an international student, then if you're paying for rent, you need to make sure that this job that you're getting is able to pay your rent. Do you understand? And it's actually very difficult to get these jobs. I don't know. And I think it's because of the visa issues, to be honest.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it is possible to get a job, but building a career is something different.
It's something different. Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, so I'm putting hold on applying things that are in line with my career and then focus on other manual jobs because I need to pay rent. We say that this is London and you're not living in your mother's house, so you have to pay rent. So the thing that comes in your mind is paying rent. So you can do anything. You can do cleaning, you can become event organizer, you can do those things. Those gigs are there. But one thing I would say, the quickest way to actually get better in your career is doing the volunteer jobs. And I think when I was in uni, I did volunteer in so many green activities, and I think that what boosted my CV, and I think that is what really helped me to get the placement job that I got. So I think in as much as there are jobs here, there are manual jobs and other non-career related jobs, it's good to also focus on your career so that you don't just come with uni with just like money. Well, we can debate about that.
Yeah, that is debatable.
Yeah.
Now, we could go on talking about money. It is a very, very, very detailed topic and it has a lot of opinions and views.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own perspective. But as a student now, taking an undergraduate program in a Kenyan setting is different from taking an undergraduate program here. At least I've been through the two education systems, and I understand they are completely different. Now, the first thing is you got out with a first class. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a very big deal. I don't know if people could speak in capital letters, and this is where now I should be speaking in capital letters, which is congratulations. I mean, you have kept the Kenyan spirit, right?
Thank you.
You also interned. You were on placement at Aston Martin.
Yes.
If I see you driving an Aston Martin, then I see something, right?
Yeah.
How was your experience there? What is Aston Martin, by the way, for somebody who has never heard it?
Hey, okay. Aston Martin is a very iconic British automotive company. Basically, it's a car company. The beautiful Aston Martins you've seen, so I worked there. And by the way, I still can't believe that I worked there. So I got this job to where I interned for 1 year. So we call it placement. So in the UK, we have 2 ways of study? So we have like full-time and part-time. But then also we have like 3-year course or 4 years course. Thin sandwich and thick sandwich. So if you're doing thick sandwich, you do first year, second year, and then third year you go to placement or an internship. If you're doing thin sandwich, then you do first year. Between first year and second year, you can do internships, and then you finish off your third year with you do a dissertation, and then you graduate. So for me, I I got the placement to study to work at Aston Martin, where I worked as a sustainability engineer, and so I was working with the environment team and the sustainability team. What that meant is I was reporting to the head of government affairs and sustainability manager. So to help them, it's a car company, and thinking about the British or the UK 2030 agenda to decarbonize the economy and go become net zero. And obviously, being a car company, they have strategies to electrify and become net zero. So I was involved with helping their strategy, which is called the Racing Green Strategy, to help them with their 2030 goals, 2039 and 2025 goals. So I was helping them with the ESG, looking at the environment, social and governance aspect, how they do it and how we can, make it better. Then also supporting their strategy and also doing STEM outreach. And then in the environment sector, I was helping our environmental manager with the, day-to-day life and how they, and also sometimes understanding how they do environmental stuff and how they improve the company on a day-to-day life in terms of environment. In general, it was a car company, and I could talk to different, the people in the line managers. I could them about the Aston Martin, which is the new model. How do you do it? It. Speaking to the engineers in the room, it was actually a very interesting placement. I had a good team. Yeah.
That sounds like an experience you would probably want to go back to.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Take me.
No. 5 years. I'll keep taking you back there. That's 4 years, let's say.
Yeah.
You come to a new country alone with only your bag.
Yeah.
It's winter.
Yeah.
Not everybody loves winter. At least you do. But it is winter, and it's during COVID.
Yeah.
There's no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And sometimes things can get really thick.
Yeah.
And when such things happen,
yeah,
people tend to have mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen so many times. Sometimes I usually joke to scholars when I get to meet them is, how many times have you cried this week?
Oh my God. I cry almost every day.
So it happens then. The question is,
yeah.
How do you deal with mental health? And I mean, have you ever had a breakdown?
Breakdown. What do you mean by breakdown?
Mental breakdown.
Mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I think so many times, obviously, like you said, you're living in a foreign country, you don't have parents, and sometimes life is so difficult. You might think, you're living well, everything is taken care of, but the social aspect, the, needing support, and when things get tough, especially sometimes when you're looking for jobs and you really want to grow, maybe you don't have the support system. So I've had those days, I have had those moments. And what I do is, obviously I'm a Christian. I do pray a lot. I cry to God a lot and tell him my problems before I go to people. And then after crying, I sit down with myself and then I analyze situations. I look about things that I can control and things that I cannot control. And then I also journal a lot. I really do journal a lot. So journaling and seeing the things that happened when I was young, like for example, when I was in M-Pesa and I had the same breakdown, and then going back and looking the way I used to talk to myself and seeing how I have succeeded, I I tell myself, hey, Valentine, look, you did this. You're in this situation the other day. You can do better. So I think generally it's like I'm tracking my life progress, and when I'm checking those things, like I feel good that there's a pattern, and if you can realize that pattern, you can work on it. So I think journey has really, really, really helped me. But also, obviously, I cannot downplay the effort that my friends have played, because I have amazing friends who have supported me. I also have, even in uni, we have good lecturers, I would say. So if it's academic, you can go to them and tell them this is what's happening, especially if you're going through some mental breakdown and you can't even do a module. Like, they can give you extenuating circumstances, and you can do your exam at a later date. That is support. And then also having the professional development center. So if you're dealing with career issues and you need guidance, then they can help you. So in as much as you don't have relatives here, um, there is support. There is support if you seek that support.
Mm-hmm.
But I also realize that you have so much strength within yourself that you can actually work on yourself and, be yourself, be your own shoulder to lean on sometimes if that help is not there, to be honest. Yes. It's a combination of different people coming to help you during these times in the pot.
Yeah, it is a combination of different people and different memories.
Yeah.
So which is this one unique memory you have from your bachelor's that you will carry along for a very long time?
I think the memory when I got my offer to work at Acton Martin,
Mm-hmm.
I had almost given up on applying jobs. And that can answer the question you're asking, like, are there jobs? Right? Because I was applying for placement
Mm-hmm.
for a whole year without getting an offer. And then I got it when I was just going to start that year, because I was like, I'm not getting any placement, so let me just go and finish uni. So that moment when I moved from where I was living in Brunel University to go to another city, again, alone, in a different city. So I had to move from Brunel. I went to Midlands, closer to Aston Martin, where I was working in Warwick. That is one memory I will never forget. I remember being on the car and I was crying because I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So that is the transition, like trusting that, oh, God got you. Like, he always comes at the right time. And also it's the trusting in yourself that, oh, I'm going in a different city. And it's because I pushed myself a little bit harder to apply for that job. And that meant that I'm actually enough, that, I'm actually good enough. So I think that memory, I think that is actually a memory that I would keep. Yeah.
Now you're going from London to Midlands and specifically Warwick, right? So you probably had culture shock. You also had social life to deal with.
Yeah.
What do you remember about these two things?
When I went to Warwick, because obviously I'm moving from London, and London is very diverse, to be honest. London, I don't feel like a black sheep in London. But now when I went to Warwick, it was more breeds. Like, I could not see people, like I could not see most Africans there. So it felt lonely. Social life was also lonely. But in the workplace, I got colleagues who became friends. So we could have a coffee date, and we could go for dinner date. So life was a bit fair for me. I didn't feel alone. But the culture shock, obviously, I was in the UK, I was like, it's fine. I'm used to living alone anyway. So it was bearable. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about living alone
Yeah.
in the UK, I kept telling my good friend is You can stay in a place for all year. You may end up not knowing the person living next door. So it is a thing, and social life can be a challenge. But there are also places where communities are welcome. You can find like a community of people with similar, like maybe the religious group, or maybe Kenyans for that matter. There was an event the other day for people who love, what was it, PN and the likes.
Yeah, and also we had Kenyans and friends in the park. By the way, I recorded that video.
Yeah, so how do you integrate yourself then to these communities? Have you had an experience with these communities?
Yeah, so my number one community is church. So even when I went to, even here in Brunel, so I have a church I go to. And when I moved to another city, then I had to look for a church. And then also when I went to church, I was asking, so do you have youth programs here? We can, do things with the youth. So that one is well taken care of. And when I went there now, like, we could interact with different youths and, we can do activities together, get to know each other so you don't feel alone, right? There are also Kenyan communities, but most of those communities is like they do like one event. It's not something that is done every day, right? So like we had Kenyans and friends in the park. That was one event that happened, but they happen in different places. But I find these events mostly happening during summers, because summers people are out. Also, I think also using Eventbrite, you can find very interesting meetups. You can find some things that are in line with you. Like you can find activities like, let's say, for example, with environmental stuff, you can find people who are going to do a cleanup, community cleanup. So you can join them. You can find people who are going to do like wellness sessions, and then you can join them. And mostly you don't need to pay most of these events. And if you have to pay, like, it's just few quid.
So
yeah.
Let's talk about one final document that people usually know can be an obstacle. It's called a visa. See, you can have all these scholarships.
Yeah.
You can have all these opportunities. But if the visa does not agree to let you in, then you can forget about that. Because I know when I come to the UK, one of the things I might mostly be interested in is, especially I'm coming there for 5 years, so I may want also to travel in different countries in the European area. And following the Brexit 2016-17, I think, so people in the UK, you will need a Schengen visa to travel around. So which countries have you been to so far?
Oh, I've been to Spain. I've been to Spain, and that was through an environmental field trip. And to be honest, I feel like if I was to go back and start my degree, I would travel to so many countries. I don't know what I was doing, by the way. Yeah, so I went to Spain, and that was through a field course to environmental science. Today we went to Tenerife, which was a 5-day trip where we were learning about geography mostly and environmental stuff. Yeah. So I had to apply for a Schengen visa. So
it means you can't, being in the UK, you can't use your UK status to travel everywhere.
Oh, so when you have a UK DRP, the biometric resident permit, or you have a visa, there are some countries that are listed you can visit with your BRP, like Albania, Montenegro. Which other country? Those countries in the UK. But if you want to travel in like Spain, Italy, Germany, those big ones, you have to apply for something called Schengen visa. So you can apply for Schengen visa to go to Spain, or you can even apply for multiple entry Schengen visa so that you don't have to apply for visa every time you want to visit. Yeah.
Yeah, that has been an interesting story.
Yeah.
And, this podcast, people get to listen mostly are people who are looking forward to start their programs in some of these cities and institutions.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, if I am a prospect, what would you tell me that you should have known before you came?
Hey, that, I'm just like trying to digest, because there's so many things I would tell you, right? But I don't want to give the wrong impression, but I want it to be real. I wanted to know that, the loneliness is real, especially if you're coming here to study alone, that one I won't lie. Because, if you come from home where you have your, girls, boys, you have your mom, like there's always someone checking on you. Here it's just like you in your, like today, just in my own room, no one cares about you, right? So that one is real. That one I won't lie. But, if you work on yourself and learn to not feel lonely when you're with yourself, then I think that should be fine. You can find ways to network with other people. Like how, for me, what I did, I started a YouTube channel to like network with other people and just like make my own noise in social media, constructive noise in my own space. The other thing is your mental health is very important. So do whatever you have to do to make sure that your mental health is important, because when your mental health is not good, then you cannot be able to do anything in this country. So that one is very important. And then something I can say is, hey, you will work. Yeah, you're going to work. You're going to work to pay those bills. I'm not lying. But the weather is also real. Like the winter are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're coming here, carry a lot of warm clothes. The homesickness is real. So if you have to bring like photos of your parents to hang the wall or something, just bring them. Maybe they'll keep you going. And also, what else? It's also an interesting life, to be honest. I mean, if you're a prospect and you're wondering whether to come here, don't listen to our negative things saying, oh, loneliness and the weather. Please come here. You're gonna learn. You're gonna adapt. Okay. And it's gonna be fine. I mean, I would say if I did it, you can do it. If I did it from the village, all the way from the village, you can actually do it. So I think if you're a prospect and you're wondering whether to come here, I mean, come here and experience life. I mean, it's a beautiful opportunity, and I would encourage you to come here and sail through it. Experience the moment. It's gonna teach you so many things. I think one thing I've learned is to live alone and not expect anything from anyone. And that is my superpower. So I'll tell you, I'm here, you're gonna learn. Yes.
There's so much somebody can learn from you.
Yeah.
I've been watching your TikToks. I actually realized I saw your TikTok a very long time ago, but I realized just a few days ago. And this was something about job hunting and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I also understand you do a vlog. So somebody who wants to get in touch with you, they'd probably want to know more about these things you're doing and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I want to know more about Valentine, if I want to know more about your life now and whatever you want to do later, how can I get in touch with you?
Oh, so thank you for watching my TikTok and YouTube. That means a lot. I mean, I see that people are actually watching. So if you want to get in touch with with me and know more about student life in the UK in general, my name's Valentine Mukeni across all my channels. Valentine Mukeni. That's my name. Okay? Yes.
So we will leave links to her TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn account in the description of this video. So as usual, just go to the description, check out the links, get in touch with Valentine. If you have any question about life in London and how she managed to navigate, just get in touch with her. So how do you get the M-Pesa Foundation scholarship?
How I got it is obviously, from someone who announced about it. But now that you're watching online, if you go to M-Pesa Foundation Academy website, which is very updated, by the way, I looked at it and they are very active with their website. Check on the M-Pesa Foundation Academy website, and then on the admissions tab, you will find all the information that is required for you. So, to give you just a brief, is the applications are open to students from all over the country in Kenya, from 47 counties. And also, the applications are accepted from the refugees who are duly registered in Kenya. Okay? And these applications are open to students who are 14 to 16 years old, and they are in their final year of, what is this called? Class 8.
Primary school.
Primary school. Now they are 10th thing,
There's a name for that, eh?
Junior, yeah.
Yeah.
They are
SS.
Yeah, so the final years of the junior secondary, the grade 9.
Mm-hmm.
And also the students who come from financially challenged backgrounds, but those people who are talented, they have the, the leadership potential, and then they're committed to being responsible citizens and community service, and demonstrate academic excellence. So if you have all those things, and if you see someone who needs that scholarship, please let them know.
So thank you, Valentine, for coming in for the podcast. I appreciate, and this has been a wonderful experience. So that was Valentine Mukeni, and this is the Management Diary. I'm your host, Omar Joseph, and until we get to meet again in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.